Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to start our program, and our speaker today is Tom Airhorn. And Tom is a good old hometown boy. He's actually from my hometown.
Believe it or not, we are.
And he just recently came back from a tour in southwestern Virginia. And he's learning how to live in the city again. And he's one of the few certified software quality engineers in Albuquerque. I think Albuquerque has the lowest number of certified software quality engineers of any other city, because we don't have a whole lot. Are you above 1,000 on your certification number?
400 something.
400 and something. So he is early on in the process. So Tom is going to talk to us about the other nuclear QA.
I guess if I knew how to operate this thing, I'd be in great shape.
Bottom right hand corner, right there, the 45%. Click on the icon that's right beside 45% to the left.
It's like a
Oh,
left,
here.
left, right there.
Right there.
Yeah.
No, right.
Left mouse button.
I'm sorry. Software, not hardware, guys.
That's what we would say. Can you tell he's a software engineer?
Software, not hardware. I can't do that.
Hardware scares software engineers. So.
Yep.
Tom?
You're done. Thank you. As Denny said, we are from the same hometown in a very small place in Pennsylvania. We met while we were here, amazingly enough, not before. I want to give you a little background about myself so you understand where I'm coming from. About 30 years ago, I was in the Air Force, and I worked in a software support center. And we were responsible for software support for simulators, B-52 and KC-135 aircraft. That was my first introduction to nuclear. I mean, we had nuclear bombs on the B-52s. I was a programmer, and I got promoted, and they said, well, you're not a programmer anymore, now you're going to have to be a manager. I said, fine. Not that I really wanted to be, I really liked programming. And we went out and we hired a bunch of programmers. And they did work, and they did all this programming and stuff, and I looked at this stuff and I said, wow, this is really bad. I mean, they got the stuff to work, but there was no documentation, there was no planning, there was no configuration management, there was no way to go back, there was no way to go forward, there was nothing. All they did was the program. I said, we can't have this. So another person that worked there and I said, we need to have some sort of quality here. And we started the software quality assurance branch. Neither of us had a clue what quality assurance was. I still don't, but that's okay. 30 years, I didn't learn a thing. But we started the software quality assurance branch, and that's how I got into quality originally. After that, I spent more time there, and I spent time as a civilian employee in the Air Force and things. I got here 18 years ago. I came to New Mexico, and I worked for the Air Force for a while, and then I said, you know, I need to do something different. And I joined a company that was called Intera. They're still here, but we're no longer part of them, and I moved on and everything. And I ended up working for the Yucca Mountain Project, which is, if you know anything about Yucca Mountain, you know that's pretty well dead. And I was working in quality there, and I really didn't really understand what it was. But the quality, the Yucca Mountain Project kind of came to an end, and my company said to me, I worked for a company called Ariba, they said to me, you have two choices. You can either sell pencils on the street corner, or you can come back to Lynchburg, Virginia, and work back here. I said, well, I'm not quite ready to retire yet, so I'll go back to Lynchburg, Virginia. I got back there. I was the software quality assurance department for a company of 4,000 people, and we do a lot of software. So I kind of ran around in circles for quite a while, but at the same time they said, you need to know more about this whole quality thing. You need to learn how we do quality in the power plant business. This is 3 Mile Island, in case you're wondering. I said, sounds good to me, let's try that. And so I got a really big eye-opening experience about what quality was like there as opposed to what I learned here. Here we're very fortunate. We have Sandia National Labs, we have the Department of Education in Albuquerque, we have Los Alamos Labs. We have a lot to do with the DOE part of quality and nuclear quality, but we don't have too much to do with the NRC. I got exposed to the NRC, and so in a moment of weakness, I told John I would speak tonight. I said, oh, how about I talk about that and share with you a few of my experiences working with the Nuclear Regulatory Commission way of doing quality.
When you say you were exposed to something, you're radioactive.
I think so, yes. I glow in the dark. We don't need nightlights at my house anymore at all. It's in great shape. One of the things about both the Department of Energy and the Nuclear Regulatory Commission is we work from the law of the land, the Code of Federal Regulations. We don't make any of this stuff up. They tell us exactly what to do. You go out there on the First Gov website or whatever, and you will see all this stuff that applies to all these nuclear activities. Title 10, that's where this 10 comes from, is energy. The first part of that title belongs to the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. The second part belongs to the Department of Energy. Title 10, Code of Federal Regulations, Section 830, Subpart A, talks about quality assurance requirements for DOE activities. The Department of Energy takes that and they put forth an order called 414.1D, which is their quality assurance. Now, I'm not an expert on this. I'm just trying to show the comparison here, so I really am not that familiar with it. What we work with is Part 50 of the Title 10 of the Code of Federal Regulations, Appendix B, which is quality assurance criteria for nuclear power plants, and they just added this, fuel reprocessing plants. Then we talked about an NRC Reg Guide, and I'll get into that a little bit more in a bit. This is just to present this to you. I'm just going to go through this very quickly. Like I said, I am not a DOE expert or anything. These are the 10 criteria that the DOE uses for their quality assurance program. In the areas of management, they have program, personnel training and qualification, quality improvement, documents and records. In the area of performance, they have work processes, design, procurement, inspection and acceptance testing, and finally in the area of assessment, they have management assessment and independent assessment. That's just what the DOE uses. They have 10 criteria. Of course, the NRC can't do that. They have to have more criteria. We'll get into those in a bit. There's an interesting thing about the way the Nuclear Regulatory Commission looks at quality. When I was working for Yucca Mountain and working for other places, everything was subject to these quality assurance requirements. I said, well, this is good. I mean, we really want to put our quality stamp on things, and we want to make sure that everything meets our requirements. Well, that's not true in the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. Right there in the Code of Federal Regulations, it says, the pertinent requirements of this appendix apply to all activities affecting the safety-related functions. They limit their quality assurance program and all of the rules that they put forth to these safety-related functions, which are, we'll do the second two first because they're a little bit easier. The capability to shut down the reactor and maintain a safe shutdown condition. Pretty easy to understand. You've got to be able to turn the reactor off. You've got to be able to put the control rods in there. You've got to stop the nuclear reaction and maintain it in that state for as long as you can. Yes! I have exactly 20 minutes before it tunes up. All right, we're in good shape. Can I cancel? Is that allowed?
Yeah.
The third thing is we have to worry about the exposure to the public outside the area. Like at 3 Mile Island, my parents, my mother at the time, my father was already dead, but my mother lived in an area not too far from 3 Mile Island, and it kind of, you know, some radioactivity got out there and everything, and she had to evacuate and go to a gym and all that kind of stuff. But there's a limit, so these two things are considered safety related. And the third thing is the integrity of the reactor coolant pressure boundary. And what that is you have the core, and you have the water running through there, and you have the rods in there, and you have these steam generators and things, and all this piping that has to do with this water that runs through the center of the reactor, through the actual core, that's part of the reactor coolant pressure boundary. So that has to be maintained. You have to maintain the integrity. So all the rest of this stuff in the nuclear reactor doesn't count. Safety related is this boundary, these piping right here, the ability to maintain a safe shutdown, to initiate and maintain a safe shutdown, and the ability to keep the radioactivity in the area. So that's the only things that we actually worry about. When we talk about the Department of Energy, I said there was 10 criteria that we use. In 10 CFR 50, we have 18 criteria that we use, and these are applied to those safety-related functions. The first one is organization. These are the areas that we talk about when we talk about quality assurance for our NRC customers. I work for a supplier to reactor facilities, so these are the things that they apply to us. The organization talks about the responsibility for the program. You have to actually have somebody that's responsible for your quality assurance program. Talk about duties delineated in writing and the definition of the program. These are all pretty common things, and these are the things that they put in this first criterion. The authority and freedom. This is pretty important, where you have the authority to make